guys, this is Mrs. Lamphere, and in this video we are looking at the presentations unit, the Unit 5 Project 1 assignment. And so for this assignment we are going to make a presentation for the science experiment that we created back in Unit 3, so the documents unit. So we made that project with the science experiment, so we're going to be taking that, so make sure you have that open. Preferably your finished one, the science experiment 4, with all the information. So have that open because we're going to be using information from that for our presentation. And we'll use the results of this assignment as the starting point for the next assignment. So keep that in mind that we're going to be needing to do these in order. So we're going to create a new presentation and save it as Science Experiment 1. So I'm going to go ahead and open I'm going to go with Microsoft PowerPoint 2010 because that sounds like what most of you are using. You also might be having to use OpenOffice Impress, which we talked about in class. So either Microsoft PowerPoint or OpenOffice Impress is the OpenOffice version of PowerPoint. So in order to open up that, you can simply start a new empty presentation and just kind of next your way through. And it's a very similar layout, similar with the slides and everything. You can choose a different layout for what slides you want to use. Same with PowerPoint. So whether you're using OpenOffice Impress or Microsoft Office PowerPoint, they're very similar, so this video should walk you through each one. Okay, so we have PowerPoint open. And our instructions say we need to save this. So make sure you're saving this in your Computer Fundamentals folder. And this is supposed to be called Science Experiment 1, and we want this to save as a PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so make sure we have that saved. And our presentation should have the following elements. So we need a title slide with the name of our experiment and our name. So the very first thing I'm going to do, I hate just plain boring design slides, and you might have to, my instructions might say to do this later, but I'm going to go ahead and do this now and then I can change it up later. So with PowerPoint you can do all these different kind of default designs up here. I'm just going to go with something so that it's not just a plain, that works. So it's not just a plain white screen because that drives me crazy. So you can apply a different design to your slides, and then on the title slide it needs to have the name of your experiment and your name. So the name of my experiment, looking at my Word doc, was melting chocolate. So I'm going to type that in here. And then my name. Okay, so step 1 done with the title slide. Step 2, one slide describing the objective of the experiment using the bullet form. So on my next slide, so if I go back to my home tab, say new slide, now I need to include the objective of my experiment, which comes from this paragraph here. So we don't want to just copy and paste this paragraph because we talked in class how PowerPoint slides should just have main points. So I'll probably just go with the points that I have underlined here for my objective. So this is my objective slide, and my first bullet point. So the main objective of this experiment is to find out what temperature does chocolate go from solid to a liquid. A liquid. And then my next objective that we're meeting with this experiment is it different for white and dark chocolate? Give this fun science experiment, oh my gosh, I cannot type today, a try and find out. Okay, so there's my objective and bullet points. And so most slides will kind of default to a bullet point for you. If it doesn't for some reason, you can turn on your bullet points up here on your home tab. So you can turn bullet points on and off by selecting the bullet point option there. Okay, so we have our objective laid out, and then one slide describing the procedure using the numbered format. So looking back at our science experiment, I have my procedure numbered out here. So I can go to my PowerPoint, say new slide. This one's going to be called procedure. And let's see, I'm going to copy and paste this whole procedure. See how that looks. And then I'm going to go through and kind of limit this down because, again, like we talked about, we don't want a whole bunch of text filling up our slides. So we just kind of want the main points. So I'm going to have every sentence here kind of as part of the main points. And I also want this to be numbered. So instead of bullets, we can click on the number option, and that goes ahead and numbers it for us. So let's see. Put one piece of chocolate on a paper plate and put it outside in the shade. So I'm going to cut that down so it's not one big long sentence. And then I'm going to kind of make these some subpoints. So again, just because we want to kind of limit the text, we don't want all of this on here word for word, we can kind of make some subpoints out of this. So I'm going to split this up, record how long it took for the chocolate to melt. That's going to be one subpoint. So if I just tab in, that kind of makes it a subpoint under my second step in my procedure. So I can turn that into a subpoint, and I can make this one a subpoint. And again, by clicking on the bullet point, there we go. So again, I'm just going through and kind of cutting this down so it's not full sentences, it's not word for word. I just want main points. For my slides. Okay, that kind of gets me all down on a couple different lines there. Okay, then the next step. So again, I'm going to go through and I'll pause this video for now. I'll go through and I'm just going to summarize my slide here. Okay, so I just finished going through and kind of limiting my words on this slide so it's not quite as lengthy as what is in my paper. So I have my different steps numbered out with kind of some sub-steps listed in there as well. So you might have sub-steps, you might not, depending on what your experiment is. So let's double check with our rubric to make sure we have everything covered. We created a title slide with the experiment and in the title box, and we have our submitter name in the subtitle box. On slide 2, we have objective in the title with the bulleted list of the objectives. And then on slide 3, we have our procedure in the title with a numbered list for the procedure. So you will want to make sure you save this and get that submitted for the Unit 5 Project 1 assignment.